Attempt number 2 for going for $1 million.
We got the goods here today in our best ball draft. Wait till you see the team we put together. It is stocked, locked, and loaded. All right. Beginning the best ball. Welcome to the Standard Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jono.
And I'm your host, Chris. We're about to roll into it. We loved our team. I loved our first team. But we're going to go for a second attempt here at $1 million.
Well, I love where we're at. We're at pick 12.
Oh, love it.
A lot of damage you can do because you can go back-to-back value picks each round, but you also have the luxury of jumping on somebody you really like, because the odds of them coming back to you in 20-something, 23, 22 other picks is low. So really, this is the draft opportunity at the 12 spot where you get to pick the people you want, and you're not forcing your hand just because somebody is, quote-unquote, fallen to you.
Well, what I really love in this strategy, especially being at the 11-12, like the 10, 11, 12 pick, is take value, and then the second pick, reach for a guy, because you're not getting picked in 20 picks.
Well,
so
yeah, I agree with you there. I just don't love doing that every time.
I don't love doing it every time, but it's a really good strategy, especially in the early rounds where there are going to be guys that fall. So you want to take the value of the people that are there, but then you look at the next 20 picks. It's like, what do you need? How do you want your team constructed? Let's go and take a reach on a guy that I want on my team that I will not be able to get.
Yeah, and one of the things I love at the 12 spot too is it kind of makes it a little bit easier in terms of the quarterbacking part of the draft, because you really get an opportunity to get that quarterback you want early if you want. And if you fade the quarterback, you're in a position still with 2 back-to-back picks that you're not going to lose the guy you really want with that second pick.
Right.
So you really get to mold the draft, so to speak. The number 1 pick and the number 12 pick really shape how these drafts go more than anything.
What I like here, especially with bringing up the quarterback, is we can even go back-to-back quarterbacks if we do
cheers.
fade.
Here we go.
Cheers.
Kicking it off.
Here we go. Hey, by the way, I'm drinking a Tropicalia by Creature Comfort.
I'm drinking a rice lager.
A little rice lager.
Sorry, rice lager. McCaffrey off the board. That's been the case every single time. I don't think I've been in a draft yet where he hasn't been off the board.
No. I mean, I've seen him go 2 in one of the drafts I've done.
Yeah, I have not in any of mine done.
Yeah.
And this is probably number 10 for me. CeeDee Lamb, number 2. I like it.
It's going to be a lot of chalk. I think as we're approaching the season, more people are kind of falling into place.
Tyreek, yeah. I mean, well, if you notice too, Jefferson is still at that 6th spot.
Brees has dropped down.
Well, no, Brees has been around that 6, 7, 8.
Bijan
jumped up. I think that's what it was. Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra, chalk.
Chalk.
I mean, here's the thing too. We went pretty straightforward, solid in our first draft we did together. Do you want to be a little bit more risky here? Do you want to be try and heavy load ourselves, be different in any way possible?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, I'd like to see what value drops to us. I think we actually drafted out of the 12th position in our last film, the best ball, and I think we went Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison.
No, I think we were the 10 spot. I don't think we were 12. We didn't draft from the 12 spot.
You might be right.
We were 9 or we were in
the back half of the draft
or
the back third of the
or
draft.
7, because I remember what it was.
Puka goes. Brees is still on the board.
Brees, AJ, okay, he's off. Now you got AJ, Garrett, Gibbs, Harrison.
AJ Brown goes.
If Gibbs goes here and Garrett Wilson and Harrison there, it's very difficult to not hit those guys back to back.
I know.
All right, so here we go.
I'm not opposed to going Jahmyr Gibbs right here and hitting either Marvin Harrison or going Devontae Adams. I like both those guys. You take the pick at Gibbs. I think that's a no-brainer.
I like the Gibbs pick here, too. I think I don't have much shares of him just because of where you got to be to get him most of the time.
Right.
I just like how they're going to increase his usage in this, and I just hope his durability lasts this season.
Yeah, and for the second pick here, I do like Marvin Harrison. My 2 guys that I would want to go here are Devontae Adams and Marvin Harrison, and I like Marvin Harrison. I have a lot of Devontae Adams.
I do too. I don't want. I mean,
you got to make the selection.
Barkley. Well, it would have given us Harrison anyway. We'll go with Harrison here. I did like Barkley if we wanted to try and go different and heavy up on the running back spot because we're going to 2 receiving running backs.
Right.
But because we're going to lose the value on that big chunk of tier of wide receiver,
right,
we get 2 of them at the 12 spot. That was the only thing I was thinking about possibly doing.
Yeah,
but I know you don't like Saquon, so I wasn't going to force
it. And I
it.
think that there's so much value in the later rounds at running back. Like, you don't have to go and reach up at those top guys. I mean, Saquon would be nice to have. Jonathan Taylor, I think, would be nice. I probably would have Jonathan Taylor.
I have Saquon and Taylor in one of my leagues in the first 2 picks, and I loved it. And I was a 12 pick right there.
Yeah. I mean, I like Taylor over Saquon this year by a smidge. But, Saquon would be good. I don't think I have any shares of Saquon.
I know, and I know everybody's afraid of the tush push, and yeah, that probably will take some touchdowns out of it, but Saquon can hit double-digit touchdowns easily. The difference people got to realize is Saquon Barkley is not your traditional running back. He is a home run hitting running back, and he has never been in the position where he's had 20 rushing touchdowns in a season. Like, we're not going to see like Christian McCaffrey touchdown numbers from him, but his ability to hit the home run is as good, if not the best in the league. So that's the only reason I like his ability with the Eagles is that home run ability, because all the weapons that are already there, there's going to be opportunities for him. And that's how I feel.
For sure. But then, I mean, you got to like Derrick. I mean, I like Derrick Henry in a position where his value is dropping over Saquon.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, again, in another good offense with Anthony Richardson, a very simple. I mean,
yeah, maybe you can make the same argument for Saquon. Is Anthony Richardson going to take touchdowns from Taylor? It's quite possible. It can happen. Anyway, we're up at 17 picks. Still a lot of chalk. Olave still on the board. Ayuk on the board. People jumping up on A-Chain.
Let me ask you. I mean, because you've done quite a bit of best ball drafts as well. Like, who are the guys that you've seen fall the most?
I was surprised to see. Well, I mean, just the ADP alone for Cooper Kupp surprises me there.
Yeah.
I've seen Debo fall a little bit from where his spot is, and I've seen Olave fall from where his spot is mostly. But also, I've seen Mike Evans not go at the 22 spot. Like, people jumping down for other receivers besides Debo. I mean, like, people are going Laporta and Kyron, and you see Debo sitting up there. So I don't know. I think, in my opinion, Cooper Kupp is the one that I think is the best pick in the second round for best ball drafts, because he should be a first rounder.
He should be.
I know Puka's going ahead of him, and yeah, Puka's had some big games, but you're talking about a guy who had just under 100 catches, 100 targets last year, missing a lot of the season. Like, this guy's going to get 130 to 150 targets this year, and you can get him in the second round, and not just targets, quality targets too. That's the biggest difference. Devontae Adams had 175 targets. They weren't all quality targets because he didn't have Stafford throwing to him. But I still like the fact that he gets 175 targets. But quality targets are going to go to Cooper Kupp. Like, Matt Stafford is not just slinging the ball blindly out there. Like, he knows Kupp well.
Yeah, and you gotta love him. I do like him. I've seen Drake London fall a lot,
as he should, though. Like, there's too many unknowns.
I've seen him fall a lot. I mean, I've seen him fall towards the second half of the second round.
Yep. Kelsey goes, I was about to say, I've seen him fall too.
Yep, he's another guy. I've seen Kittle drop down. Kittle led the all tight ends in receiving yards last year, and I've seen him.
He's top 3 every year.
Yeah, and I've seen him just fall when people are taking Kincaid in front of him.
Yep. It's crazy, too, to see. I mean, everybody's been doing best ball out there. Obviously, you want to try and jump on the ship soon after the NFL draft, just because the ADP is so fresh and so different. It's high on the rookies. So you get a lot of these veterans that are down in ADP. And you see Malik Neighbors has dropped down to the 33 in ADP here, where he was up in the 20s to start this entire best ball season.
It's definitely starting to normalize. I mean, some of the teams that I was able to put together early on were just like, you're looking at them and you're like, how did I get
exactly?
this?
But that's why you got to do it. That's why you jump on it.
Yeah.
We're up in 7 picks here. We've got a wide receiver, running back combination. We'll see here. I mean, there's no way in 5 picks Sam Laporta is still sitting there for us, but if he is, we are jumping all over it. The question is, do we want to go for a piece of Josh Allen this early if he's there? Otherwise, I think this is the perfect opportunity to grab 2 very quality wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking, Michael Pittman might be there.
DK Metcalf.
I really like even going again and getting a running back and
wide receiver
and getting DK and Travis Etienne. Like, I really like Travis Etienne in best ball. I really like him as a receiving back. They really have no one else there that's going to take work from him.
Well, he's gone, so it's going to be.
So never mind.
So Neighbors just went, and I'm thinking To me,
Pittman Jr.
I think we're taking Michael Pittman Jr. I agree with you here. And I'd be happy to take DK Metcalf in a heartbeat here, too, as well.
I'm happy to take DK. The other option is Jalen Hurts.
Or Lamar Jackson. I don't have much of Hurts here. So the question is, do you want to punt quarterback to the next
we're going
next
to
time?
At this point.
Well, I think...
If you go DK, we're going to.
Yeah, and I'd rather go DK.
So let's go DK.
All right, so starting off our draft here, as we could see, Jahmyr Gibbs, a Lone Star hero running back. We got 3 beasts at wide receiver: Marvin Harrison, Michael Pittman, and DK. We have the juniors in our squad here as 1 and 2. So last time we kind of were more well-rounded, and I don't want to not be that, but I also think in an opportunity to grab firepower and be a week-to-week boom team without the bust. And yes, okay, I'll concede some points at the RB2 and RB3 position more than I would if we were to go get a running back this past round. But if it means that at the wide receiver position, our top 4 guys, including our flex there, are guys that are going to give us top 10 performance opportunities each week, I think that's a bonus.
Well, I have an interesting strategy that we can do here. And I talked to our buddy Nick about this. And
shout out Lambros,
fellow Greek.
Warm pita bread.
So the strategy is that we have Jahmyr Gibbs. We don't touch another running back until late and get all backup running backs.
And hit a couple rookies.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Because you look at last year and everyone, Jerome Ford was undrafted. Right, and what happens to Nick Chubb, and he becomes, a top 20 running back, and he's being untouched. There are always going to be guys like that.
Agreed.
So going and getting a bunch of these backups where we can stack. I mean, the next 2 picks, we can go quarterback and tight end if we wanted to, and solidify those positions.
Which I think is not a bad way to do it, because when we look at the tight end position, you got McBride, Kincaid, Andrews, Pitts, Kittle, Ingram. After that, you're really going kind of just taking a shot at some of these guys. Ingram, believe it or not, out there. I mean, Nick, shout out to you again. We'll throw the stats at your face all day. But
we got to get Nick on here for maybe a best ball draft.
Well, he was here in person recently. We should have done it.
We should have done it.
But Ingram himself led all tight ends in targets. He was unbelievable in terms. It didn't pan out to be the most receptions either, but I mean, just
or yardage.
Yeah, but what he was able to do, targets equal opportunity, opportunity can equal yardage, and receptions, et cetera. So you want the opportunities to be there, and hopefully it's more quality this season too, like it was 2 years ago for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I like getting. I know we've talked a lot about fading the tight end, but I've always found myself in a position where I have decent players at other positions, and when you look at the drop off, I can go get a wide receiver later on. I can't get a tight end like McBride, and I can't get a tight end like Kincaid.
Well, now that it's most likely that Waller is not coming back, then I mean, you
throw a shot on Theo
Johnson, even Daniel Bellinger, who is serviceable. But again, I agree. Once you get to that point, touchdowns matter more.
Oh, for sure.
You're
McBride
losing.
Just went Christian Kirk. So we're starting to see some people jump off the board. But probably before we pick again,
we're probably going to lose Andrews
and Kincaid.
I mean, there's a good chance
Kittle's probably going to be there.
Let's talk about this right here, because I'd like to break this out into a separate segment too, and you could go ahead. We can edit this out. But Kyle Pitts, where do you stand with Kyle Pitts this year? Do you like him, or is this still I am not touching him with a 10-foot pole? Because I'll tell you my opinion, but I want to hear what your thoughts are.
I mean, he's one of those guys. He's not getting drafted very high anymore. So you're not taking him in the 3rd or 4th round. So his values come down a bit. So am I more willing to take him at that value? Yeah, but when Kittle is sitting there or Ingram's sitting there, I'd probably rather take a shot on those guys who I know are going to be involved in that offense. I know from my point of view, Kirk Cousins is going to come back healthy this year. He's going to play. But we don't know how that offense is going to look. We don't know how that offense is going to look with Kirk Cousins running the ball or running the offense. So do I really trust Kyle Pitts? Part of me is saying, yeah, you kind of have to, because other than Drake London,
there goes Kincaid.
Who else is there?
I agree. I mean, the one thing, we're up in 5 picks, but the one thing here, I'll say it real quick, is Kyle Pitts, we know what he could do in Florida. He's an athletic freak. I think he has been plagued with bad quarterbacking. It is what it is.
Yeah, no joke.
There's been games here and there where he shined. He's shown who he could do. I mean, he was, as a rookie, a 1,000-yard receiver. Not his fault that they couldn't get in the end zone. and get close to the red zone to
What, he had
toss
one
in the ball.
touchdown?
He had, I don't even know if he had one his rookie year. He's had, or maybe it's been 1, 2, 3 his first 3 seasons.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to see a boom in his touchdowns here. I think you're going to see 5+ touchdowns from him. So 5, 6 is about the average for your tight ends across the board. And then you have your elite tight ends getting more than that. So for him at the value that he's at, and like you said, for best ball here with Kittle compared to Pitts, Kittle gives you more of a ceiling. But Pitts in a redraft excites me more because he's going to be under Kittle in a redraft league in ADP for sure. He's going to be under Ingram most likely at this point this year. There's a good chance.
Maybe.
I'm just saying,
I think because Kirk Cousins there, his value is still going to maintain that.
It's going to still have that. But to me, in a redraft
it's one
league,
of those guys. I want him to prove it.
This is the year though that I think
Higgins just goes.
To me, this is the year he does it. Quarterback wise, you still got Burrow, Prescott, Murray, Love. So do you want to take care of? Do you want to take care of here? I mean, if we look at it, Hollywood Brown's there, McLaurin, Kamara, Pitts, Walker. I mean, Kamara is very enticing here.
Kamara is very enticing right there.
Like, I don't want to. I actually would rather. Which would you rather go? Is fade these quarterbacks here or fade the tight end? 10 seconds.
Let's go Kittle. Let's secure that.
Yep, I agree with you on Kittle. I'm happy with that.
And then reset our clock. And I think we can, at this point, I would rather get one of the wide receivers or Kamara than
Hollywood, McLaurin, Kamara.
I mean, McLaurin or Kamara is where I'm sitting, and I really like. So
I'd feel more comfortable with Kamara.
So let's go Kamara
because I have a feeling, and I'm
as a PPR guy, I really like it.
Correct. They've added no competition. Kendra Miller is still there, but like, who is it? Taysom Hill's his biggest competition. Let's be honest. I think coming into this year, all that legal stuff is off the table now.
Yep.
He comes into a clean season here. Yes, his age matters, but let's not look at the amount of rushes he's had over his career. He's not taking on the amount of rushes, and he doesn't take the type of hits that these other running backs get.
No, for
I'm
sure.
not worried
He's an
about
elusive guy.
Yeah, I'm not worried about his the way he carries himself. But here's the thing I will say about Kamara. He is still the PPR god when it comes to running backs here with McCaffrey.
With McCaffrey.
Like there's a tier above those guys in terms of like it used to be Eckler
and
too,
having the
but
emerging Kamara, which is Gibbs, I really like too.
Yeah. Now I will say I'm going to put this out there. I mentioned Eckler. I want everybody to see, and I'm going to do a short about this to go in a little bit more detail, even though you have only a minute. But I'll briefly talk about the fact that anybody on the Chargers offense last year, take with a grain of salt or a shot of penicillin, because everything that was last year is not.
I'll break out in hives if I do that.
Yeah, but it's not going to be this year. The expectation should be a blank slate. You should revert back to what the expectations for the players were to the previous season, and if they move teams based on what the team makeup is. So, like for example, Austin Eckler is in a situation where he's not the lead back. That's okay. We're not drafting him as a lead back. But if you'd be mistaken if you're not drafting him to be the PPR, to be the receiving guy that he is, to be better than Antonio Gibson was, because that is Eckler's bread and butter. He's also great between the tackles, and he's going to have a better offensive line in Washington, I dare say that, than he did in LA. So to me, somebody like Eckler, his ADP is the largest disparity from last year to this year.
For sure.
And warranted, because he's not going to get majority carries, but he didn't get he's shared carries last year too. He shared carries in the previous time. And look what he did when he shared with Melvin Gordon. He still himself was a top 15 PPR guy and a top 20 overall guy.
Yeah, my biggest thing and my biggest gripe with him and that offense in general is that Jaden Daniels doesn't check the ball down much. And maybe that changes when he comes to the NFL. But what we liked about Eckler so much is that Herbert, over the last couple of years, has always checked the ball down to him.
I'll stop you there. I think it was a lot less check down and it was a lot more actual design plays. And I think that's what we're going to see. Eckler's there for a reason.
But I do agree with you with the Chargers. I do agree with you that people should stop sleeping on them. I think people are fading. I've seen all these wide receivers like Vlad McConkey up on the board. You guys can see at the next ADP up and the next 2 ADP up. He's going above all these other guys. I think Josh Palmer has a chance to really break out this year.
Well, to me, it's wide receiver 1 is Palmer or Johnston. Like it's not like a number 2 situation. McConkey's number 2.
And I know me and you have gone back and forth on Quentin Johnston. Like the guy has hands made of bricks. Like his route running isn't the problem. He gets open, but like he had perfect dimes dropped to him last year where it just hit right off his hands
Well, I mean,
on so many occasions last
look
year.
at Max Duggan throwing him the ball his senior year to Herbert in the cannon. Like I think a year under his belt,
Catching
things
the
are going
ball
to be
is
different.
catching the ball.
I'm just saying, I think things are going to be different this year. We don't need to make another bet. We've already got 2 in the hopper right now. But I still think, to my opinion, Quentin Johnston is being.
Still think I'm
slept
going to win both of those bets. By the way,
I don't think so. Well, I think you'll win one of them. The double-digit touchdown one, I think, is a
From
good
Braylon
opportunity. But I don't think you're winning the other
the
bet.
Aiden O'Connell.
Oh, we have 3 bets because I thought we made the bet on Troy Franklin.
Oh, we did make a bet on Troy.
Yeah.
We have 3 bets.
We have 3 bets in.
We got to start tracking these because we're going to end up with like mustaches.
Let's refresh
for 3
it.
months.
Yeah, before I pick, Braylon Allen for the Jets is going to have double-digit touchdowns this year. Troy Franklin's was going to lead in receptions and yardage for the Denver Broncos receiving core, and
Aiden O'Connell's going to have a better season than Bo Nix
Bo
or
Nix
JJ McCarthy.
or JJ McCarthy. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, we're up in a couple picks here, so let's talk about what we kind of want to do.
We still need quarterback. We got our tight end solidified, and then we obviously start dealing with our flex. Whether
I mean,
we
a
running
guy
back.
here that's sitting right now at the second spot who just went.
I know, Christian
Kyler
Watson.
Murray, Brian Thomas Jr. I think, or even Brian Thomas Jr. Jordan Love.
I don't have enough Kyler Murray, and I think people aren't. I think Kyler Murray.
I have a lot of Kyler Murray, but I'm okay with going him again.
Okay. To me, the only thought about before our next pick, the thing about Kyler Murray here is the guy is accurate. The guy is a playmaker. You watch breakdown of film. Go watch some of these old ex-quarterbacks who break down film out on YouTube, and you'll see they talk about Kyler Murray and how they would take him over many other quarterbacks and starting quarterbacks in the league because of what he can do with the ball and his legs.
I think Brian Thomas Jr. or double down and get Jordan Love.
Let's double down. Let's double quarterback. I want to be weird. I want to be a little different.
All right,
I think
that's why I threw it out there.
Yeah, because Brian Thomas Jr. doesn't give me the wow factor. I think he's going to be great, but I think Christian Kirk's the guy to own there for the wow factor.
But Christian Kirk is going to play the majority of the routes out of the slot.
To me, Brian Thomas Jr. versus Deontay Johnson, I think you could see the two of them in a PPR setting be pretty equivalent to each other.
I don't.
I do.
And again, we've had this discussion. I don't trust Bryce Young. I don't trust that offense.
Go look at the stats for Trevor Lawrence. How do you trust that offense that much? It was not great last year.
Because they're a better team overall.
Listen, do you think Carolina improves from last year?
No.
I feel like they do. There's no way but up.
You got rid of your best defensive player.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with it. He was just being hung out to dry because he was on the field the whole time.
I mean, I get that, but you get rid of your best defensive player. Like, what kind of moves did they make other than getting Deontay Johnson to improve that team?
Xavier Leggett.
That's not a huge improvement when your offensive line is still dog crap and your quarterback is.
They improved their offensive line. They drafted linemen. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, they hit the reset button on their wide receiver core.
They did. They got younger there.
Because you had DJ Chark, a guy who was a downfield stretcher. You had Adam Thielen, who's 39 years old right now. Really, he's not. I think he's like 33. But you had him who, he can create separation. And
Chark was in the Lions.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He was on the Carolina a couple years ago.
They had Terrence Marshall, they had Mingo.
Well,
they had Thielen.
Mingo being young, Terrace Marshall Jr. is somebody every year they're looking to try and be actually what he's supposed to be when they drafted him, who I thought was a great receiver coming out of college.
People are sleeping on Thielen this year.
Well, Thielen was slept on last year. He put up solid numbers.
I think people are still sleeping on him this year because Deontay Johnson comes in and they're assuming that he's going to take all this work.
Well, I think he will.
I think he'll take some work, but I think Thielen is a guy that he has a relationship already with Bryce Young.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Listen, I just think that it's going to be different. I think Bryce Young...
And he's never been a big down-the-field guy. Like Deontay Johnson can open up the field a little bit more. He's a great route runner, but he can open up the field.
Well, and Leggett can do the same. Leggett can do the same thing, too. But I'm not doubting the fact that also Adam Thielen, since he was a Viking, has been a red zone machine, too, as well. That guy is open in the end zone all the time. Even when he was the number one and it wasn't, and no Justin Jefferson there. Let's get back to our best ball here. I know we like to ramble, but there's a lot of picks in between us when we're in the 12 spot.
Rambling.
Lord, I was born a ramble. We have
can't sing that. We're gonna get blocked.
Well, I didn't sing at all.
Yep.
I didn't sing the title of the song. So we got Jordan Love, Kyler Murray at our quarterback spot. We went back-to-back quarterbacks right there, which I think is a good position to be in because let's fade our quarterbacks. And we can grab a third if we really want to, but we don't need to.
I don't think we need to.
I mean, Kyler Murray, even if he gets injured, I think Jordan Love stays healthy for the majority of the time. Gibbs, Kamara, amazing too right there. Harrison, Pittman, Metcalf, Kittle. We're in a position now that we do what we talked about and was fade the running back position, and we take a look and see what we can do is hammering on these wide receivers. And right now, I mean, I wish we were picking it right next because I'd love to get JSN too.
I do. I love JSN
because I think there's a lot this year to like about him, especially in best ball, but even in redraft. Romeo Doubs, I know there's a question mark. We're gonna do an episode here about the camp battles and whether it be wide receivers, running backs, whatever it could be in the camp position battles. Green Bay is constantly in a position battle because everybody's young and everybody's opportunity. But the way they throw the ball there and what they do, it gives everybody opportunities.
It does. And I think the addition of Josh Jacobs really adds on to that offense more.
Yeah,
because they can run more play action now.
Better than they did when you had an injured Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon at the backfield.
Going back to other guys I think I've seen fall is Cortland Sutton. And we're in round 9, and Cortland Sutton is still there.
Well, you know why I like him? I don't like him for what he can do in Denver. I like him with the opportunity that he could be on another team before the end of the season. Before the start of the season.
Maybe.
But still, I think Cortland Sutton is solid across the board. He's not one of those guys that wows me. That's what it is. He doesn't wow me.
I think
like Adam Thielen doesn't wow me, but he gets you what you need.
Right. I like guys like that when we already have Marvin Harrison, Michael Pittman. We already have DK Metcalf. I want a guy that is going to be consistent. And we're talking about a flex position.
We could have JSN here with us.
I mean, if JSN is there, I would love to take JSN. I would love to get Cortland Sutton. I would love to even go get Romeo Doubs here with the second one because we're going to double up. If JSN's here,
I think we go.
He is here.
Bowers is gone. See, this is the thing is when the way we got the tight end early and be at the 12th spot, everybody now is starting to see the tight ends and some of these running backs fall off, and these wide receivers are just going to drop and drop and drop and drop.
Right.
I'm going JSN here. It doesn't matter which order we take our two guys, but both of us are solid on that one.
So I like Romeo Doubs here. I like Cortland Sutton here. I like Mike Williams here. There's a couple of guys right at this position that I really like. I'm okay with getting any one of them. Like getting Doubs.
Well, think about too. There's other guys here like A.D. Mitchell and Dontavian Wicks, Jahan Dotson. We could go down and take one of those guys because they won't be around.
We could, but I do like Cortland Sutton and I like Romeo Doubs. I like the opportunity that those guys are going to have.
Let's pair up our quarterback with one of our quarterbacks with Romeo Doubs.
Yeah,
especially the touchdown duo that they are.
Yeah, and let me touch on that too. Is like. This is the reason people are drafting Jaden Reed really high. This is the reason that people are drafting, Christian Watson was taking a pick before us last round. I would like to grab one of those receivers because from a best ball perspective, I don't have to be right on which guy is going to hit. There's going to be games where Romeo Doubs has 2 or 3 2 touchdowns, maybe not 3, but 2 touchdowns, and is the feature wide receiver in that game. So we like that offense enough, and we like the receivers in that offense enough. Let's go grab one of the top 3 in a young receiving core where they're just rotating in and out, especially if, I don't know how much you trust Christian Watson's hamstrings, but those things are...
Listen, I just read a whole article on how he found out there was a massive imbalance between his 2 hamstrings, and I could have told you that. I don't know how the Packers didn't tell him that and didn't test that out with all the injuries he's had. The scar tissue's in there.
I don't understand why that's not a huge part of the physical process. Is
what?
To do
Testing
like
imbalances?
a symmetry test?
They're more worried about previous injury than but I mean
I think like that is more like
it's a predictor.
It is a huge predictor, but at this point, like, what is the 40 time really freaking telling us? Like I hate the 40. I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate how it's overinflated. Oh, this guy, there is no difference on the field between a 4.21 and a 4.25. There's no difference.
Oh man, set's falling apart.
Set's falling apart.
Super glue, Gorilla Glue. What do we need?
Yeah, we need something.
No, I agree. I listen. There's certain tests that are done in the combine that to me are outdated. I even think the bench press is a dumb one. You are never going to be on your back with back support pushing something away from you. ever, unless you're on the bottom of the pile.
And how many of those guys are really repping out till failure?
Yeah,
In my opinion, 20 reps.
why don't we do a strict press? You know, it shows core stability, it shows body control, it shows the ability to push in an open space because you're still going overhead and still it's a push process.
Right.
Why not test that out?
Right.
Why? Because it's probably the higher chance of injury during the process as well.
Right.
So I get it, but to me, like that's more of a predictor of
overall strength. Fix this?
No, we're gonna leave it for the rest of this.
Dangle?
We're gonna let dangle. We're in the mini screen anyway, so
yeah. Sorry guys, set's falling apart.
Yeah, say if you got anybody that wants to come over and fix up the set, feel free.
Hey, let's throw a shout out to anyone. If anyone is watching and knows a thing or two about maybe set design or
lighting control, or has good microphone,
we would love to be in contact with you. Reach out to our Instagrams, reach out to our handles. We'd love to communicate with you. We'll give you a shout out. We'll try to promote your business or whatever you're doing on your side. You run a Fiverr, go ahead and reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to support you guys. Content creators supporting content creators. That's what we're going to do.
That's how it works.
That's how it works here.
Anyway, I lost my train of thought where we were before. But, we were talking about combine with 40-yard. I say same thing about the 60-yard in baseball. Why are we testing? When is somebody running 60 yards that's not an outfielder?
First of all, who gives a crap?
It's baseball. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day.
No. I'm saying, who gives a crap? Like, the whole reason people are getting pulled up into the majors anyway is because they hit the long ball. It doesn't matter how.
Well, now because they hit the long ball, or they could throw the ball 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how fast your trot is around first base.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I don't understand why a lot of these teams don't do symmetry testing for their guys.
Well, and the whole article about
it's such a huge injury predictor in the future, especially guys that are coming in college that have been in a contact sport that are doing high explosive activities. Like you want to know that, like you're putting a huge investment into first, second round picks. And there's a huge monetary and longevity, like team building cost that comes with that.
Let's take a quick break on that because I do want to talk a little bit more about Christian Watson because that's one guy that I'm trying to avoid.
Well, here's one guy. Here's a guy.
We're up in 3 picks. Palmer's still there. Jerome Ford just went, so obviously people are trying to go for running back. If we look at the running back board, Zeke, Charbonnet, Rico, Kendre Miller, Marshawn Lloyd, Ty Chin. So we're kind of down at the bottom, and we got the rookies and the backups. And
love Algier.
So the question is, do we fade the running back spot and go for 2 more wide receivers here?
Well, let's see who we have. All right, I think we need to hit Palmer.
Okay, I'm fine with going for Palmer.
I like Palmer, and then let's hit a running back here.
Well, here's my only thought here. Do you like Palmer over Jahan Dotson?
I mean, I like both of them.
I'd rather go Jahan Dotson.
I have a lot of Dotson.
I do too, but I love Dotson.
Let's go Dotson.
I love Dotson.
I like both of them.
I just think there's a chance that Palmer, yes, he could start off at the starter guy, but I think they want to invest in Quentin Johnston.
At the second pick, I think we need to go and grab maybe a running back here. I don't know, maybe a tight end.
Tight end wise, Cole Kmet, Freiermuth, Musgrave, Taysom, the cheat code.
I wouldn't mind Musgrave or Freiermuth.
Let's go Musgrave. Let's stick with our Green Bay offense. We like it a lot.
Yeah.
Going into this, it's sophomore year for our quarterback.
I think from a running back position now at this point at the 12th pick, or we're going to go into the 13th pick. I think that now we start hammering a lot of these back.
Algier, I love Chuba Hubbard.
So if we can get
Gibson, Hubbard, Algier, if we can get 2 of these 3, by the time it rolls around to us, I'm going to be pretty happy about that. I like Dameon Pierce a lot. I think this guy is dropped just because of last year. I like Roshan Johnson.
I need to put a huge stop to your Dameon Pierce love.
It's not love.
You had him when he was a rookie.
Yes.
He had just under 1,000 yards, and you've fallen in love with him.
No, here's the thing I'm going to say about Dameon Pierce. Yes, he's behind Joe Mixon here. And yes, he was behind Singletary for the end of the year. I just think he was in a position to lose his running back position last year. He was in a terrible offense. Singletary didn't break out until midway through the season where he had some big game and then he went on a roll and then he stopped again because that offensive line couldn't run the ball, period.
Yeah.
So now, not to say that they can now either, but Mixon is Mixon. I think if Pierce had all those 1-yard line runs last year, if he had half of them not stopped, that dude has 7 touchdowns.
But he didn't.
No, I'm just saying, but I'm going to this year.
Because the problem is that he was just so highly inefficient.
Well, so was Singletary at the end of the day. Everybody loves Singletary, but Singletary had like 4 good games where his efficiency was through the damn roof.
Yeah,
and then after
because
that,
he got the majority of rushes there.
Yeah, but then after that, he tanked on a couple games. He was terrible.
They struggled. I don't think it was just not him. A guy. It's not a guy that I love. It's an offense that I really like and I would like to be a part of. But I don't know if Dameon Pierce is the right guy. I'd rather go and get maybe Bucky Irving. Again, the point on getting some of these guys is like if there's an injury there. What guy is going to come in on an offense?
Yeah, but look at the efficiency of the Buccaneers running backs.
I mean, Rachaad White was great.
No, he wasn't. His efficiency was just as bad.
First of all, I'm always going to defend my ASU guys.
I know you were. Listen, I'm not
saying I'm going to defend him.
Rachaad White, and I'm not defending Dameon Pierce. I'm just saying there is a path forward where he can still be good as a backup. But if an injury to a veteran running back, an older running back in Mixon happens, he is still youthful, and the way he runs is very different than these other guys. And he's got that ability to break a couple tackles, and he goes. We saw it his rookie year. We didn't see it last year. They were more of an air raid team. I mean, they were his rookie year too, but they were more of an air raid team and had less success on the ground, except for a chunk of games by Singletary. Not saying that we go for him, but I'm just saying there's guys I like in the running back positions here. That being said, they're flying off the board.
Yeah. Chuba Hubbard just went.
So, Gibson, Algier.
Someone's been listening to the podcast.
Someone's currently listening to it. Someone's.
Because Chuba Hubbard, I think I've had him on every single one of my teams. He might be sense. Like my most owned player for all my best ball drafts is Chuba Hubbard.
Like if I'm in a redraft league, he's the third running back I'm taking on top of that too, and you could fade running back because the path for him to be the lead guy this year is there again. It's his backfield to lose.
Yeah.
Like we all know Brooks is not going to actually be there. I think if Gibson and Algier are there still.
I like Ray Davis.
Yeah. Again, you just run to the conundrum of a rushing quarterback.
You do.
And also Cooks.
I mean, I know a lot of people, and I'm on the J.K. Dobbins love train.
He's gone anyway.
No.
Oh, no, he's at the top there. Ty Chandler just left.
But I do think that if he does return healthy.
And there he goes.
And Tyler Algier would just smash that button right now. Just go ahead. And let's talk for 20 seconds.
Algier, okay.
Now we got to shorten time. So this is a team here where like Kamani Vidal, Bucky Irving, maybe get a rookie that we're not going to have a chance on. If you scroll down, Ray Davis is another guy that I do like in that position. If anything did happen, Elijah Mitchell, Braylon Allen's flying aboard.
Roshan Johnson.
Mitchell, Roshan. I mean, I think we could smash a lot of these running backs later on. So you take your pick on
I like
Ray
Gibson.
Davis or
I'm going to go Gibson.
Gibson. You're currently not on the clock. Did it just take Quentin Johnson for us?
It did take. Well, I like that.
We
were too fast. Gibson was the guy. God. Gibson is who I wanted there.
Why?
Why not?
Okay, let me ask you. You're taking a backup running back on a worse team in the same division.
No, I'm taking a specialist running back.
Okay.
On a team that's going to be throwing the ball a lot. A guy who can pass protect and receive better than his starting running back.
I don't know about that.
I do know about that. I think so.
Ramondre is an exceptional receiver out of the backfield. He's a
good receiver out the backfield.
No, he's a very good receiver out of the backfield.
I still think Antonio Gibson is meant.
Every time I watched the Patriots last year and he got taken off the field on third downs was just like absolutely baffling to me. When they have like...
Yes, I agree when you don't have someone like Antonio Gibson. I just think the opportunities for Gibson are going to be there. I think he's going to...
he's a better Ty Montgomery.
All right, when you talk about like... All right, you talk about these guys like Darren Sproles back in the day.
We've been waiting 5 years for Antonio Gibson to be a thing, and he's just not a thing.
Antonio Gibson was great last year.
Antonio Gibson was okay last year.
He was good last year.
He was okay.
Look up his receiving numbers. Let's put it out there.
I'm on it.
All right, I'll pick up Ramondre's receiving numbers for you.
Go ahead. Dead space, dead air.
No, it's yeah.
We got dead air. We got dead air.
Give us 2 seconds here because this This bothers me when we kind of go back and forth here. I mean, leave a message here what your thoughts are between the two guys here.
Antonio Gibson last year
Give me his receiving
had
stats.
65 rushing attempts for 265 yards and 1 touchdown.
Okay.
He had 48 receptions for 389 yards
Mm-hmm.
and 2 touchdowns.
Okay. Ramondre Stevenson last year, 51 targets, 38 receptions, 238 yards, no touchdowns.
Uh-huh.
What was Antonio Gibson's average?
6.59.
Yep, 6.3 for Ramondre Stevenson.
Okay, so is he that much better?
He is better.
Is he
than him.
that much better?
Enough that they want to get Ramondre off the field and keep his legs fresh. So,
I mean, I'm okay with that, but
I'm just telling you, I think Antonio Gibson is an upgrade for the backup running back of there, and he's a specialist because of that.
he's a specialist.
It's the reason why Washington also didn't just decide to go with Rodriguez as the guy there. They bring Austin Eckler in is because people want specialists now out the backfield.
You're saying Austin Eckler's a specialist at this point?
Now he is because he already knows. He went to a team in Washington over other teams because he didn't want to be the bell cow anymore.
All right, let's talk about what we kind of want to do with our next couple of picks
Yeah.
because, I think we do need at least another receiver.
We got Quentin Johnson. We got him.
I'm so sick. I'm so disgusted by that.
Buddy, you're going to be happy that happened by accident.
I'm so disgusted by that. I mean, I guess because we didn't get Josh Palmer and we went to Hunt Dotson instead, I'm kind of okay with that. The next two guys I kind of want off the board are Braylon Allen and Keaton Mitchell.
100% with Braylon Allen. Keaton Mitchell, I get in best ball, I'm more likely to draft him than I am in a redraft if it's not a keeper league because he just scares me with the type of knee injury he had.
Yeah.
And the recovery time. And can he come back the way he was? But if he comes back the way he was, this guy's going to be electric.
Yeah, and they don't need him to come back, so he's not rushing to come back.
No, so that's why best ball.
They'll
I
use
love
Justice Hill until then.
I like Khalil Herbert too. It's not enough for me to draft him because you're hoping he gets traded.
Yeah, you are.
And that's not a train I want to be riding
Well,
on.
that's my same feeling with like Roshan is that you like him if Khalil Herbert gets traded.
No, I think he's going to be ahead of Khalil Herbert in that backfield.
I don't think so.
I think he will.
I don't
Because Herbert's part of the old regime. Like Roshan is part of the new regime.
They're all part of the new regime.
Khalil Herbert?
Or they're all part of the old regime. Roshan's part of the old regime.
Roshan, what is this? This is his second year.
Yeah, and they had a coaching change.
Yeah, but
the GM is still the same.
The GM's the same, is what I'm saying. Herbert was part of the old.
But he's, Herbert's only in his third year.
No, I think this is his fourth year.
I think
this is the last year of his contract, and he wasn't a first rounder. So it's his fourth year coming in here. All right, we're up in 4 picks. We've got quarterback solidified. We've got
this will be his fourth year.
Yeah,
you're right.
We got tight end. We got our solid tight end. We can try and go for another tight. Oh, we got Musgrave. So we got our 2 tight ends or 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I'm fine with rocking 2 and 2 and really loading up on other players, unless again value's there. Still Will Levis, still Justin Fields. So
Nope.
Tight end wise, don't like anybody else here. I mean, again, you could take a chance on Theo
Sanders.
Johnson late.
Theo Johnson.
All right, we're up on the clock here. Wide receiver, let's go flex-wise. Malachi Corley, Bucky Irving.
I mean, I would grab Malachi Corley, and I'd be okay with going and drafting
Braylon Allen's here.
Braylon Allen.
Want to go 2 Jets in a
Yeah,
row?
let's go 2 Jets in a row. Let's freaking love it.
Let's be weird.
Jets, Jets. We want it weird, right?
Yeah, we're going to get weird because we're going to draft a Giant. No, we're not.
I mean, listen, if you want to go Theo Johnson and he's still on the board, I'm not opposed to that. I think that's a good pick. We'll have we'll be able to get him. We have 4 more picks left.
Yeah. Wide receiver wise, if there's anybody on here that you really like, I am warming up more and more to Javon Baker. The more I watch his film, the more I read about him. He is the only guy on that offense that can do what he does in terms of stretching that field.
Yeah, I mean, Kendrick Bourne can do that. He's coming off a knee injury.
Yeah, exactly. But he can, and he can, but he can't do it like Baker does. Let's remember, Baker was an Alabama wide receiver in a crowded wide receiver room, and he left, and then he got his opportunity at UCF.
Yeah.
So you know what type of pedigree he has. They brought him into wide receiver U as of recent.
That's on Ohio State.
Well, Ohio State
as of late is Ohio State's wide receiver you, or LSU.
LSU as of late, but
I mean Ohio State. Look at the guys that they're pumping out every year.
Okay,
like top quality guys every year.
I wouldn't say top. I say quality.
What? Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison.
They still have to prove it to me.
Garrett Wilson's got to prove it to you?
Yeah.
What do you got to prove to you?
Give me some touchdowns. Give me some numbers.
Okay. He is one of 5 players.
Chris Olave?
Yeah.
Is he proving it to you?
Yeah. Again, quarterback plays bad. Garrett Wilson, let me stop your slander on Garrett Wilson, all right?
No, Garrett Wilson.
He is one of 5 players that has 80 receptions and 1,000 yards in his first 2 seasons.
I know. Garrett Wilson.
Hold on. The other guys are just like Justin Jefferson, Odell Beckham. Like they're like really good guys in their early of their career. All of those guys only had maximum of 2 quarterbacks throwing the ball. Garrett Wilson has had 6 quarterbacks in 2 years, and he still has had 80 receptions and over 1,000 yards in his first 2 years. Give him a break on the touchdown numbers.
I joke when I talk about it. Garrett Wilson's phenomenal. People like Olave.
Slander.
Olave doesn't really doesn't give it to me.
Michael Pittman.
Pittman was USC.
Pittman was USC.
Yeah, I know. but to me, Garrett Wilson is the creme de la creme of the Ohio State guys of recent. Michael Thomas had 1 big year in the league.
He's had a good career in the league.
He's had a decent year. He can't say healthy. Do I think it would have been different if he stayed healthy? Olave is good enough.
I mean, LSU has had cream of the crop.
Beckham, Landry, Chase. Well, they've had 4.
Jefferson.
Yeah.
Brian Thomas now. Neighbors.
Oh, yeah, Neighbors and Brian Thomas. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, those guys are projected to be what they are. Yeah. I mean, I think Neighbors is going to be phenomenal, but is he going to do what Beckham did his rookie year?
Try not to choke on that on the way down.
On what? My Neighbors love?
The giant.
Yeah.
Giants.
Any talk about the Giants?
Yeah. Any talk about the Giants?
Listen, I'm having realistic expectations this year, different than the previous seasons.
Like 4 wins?
I take it.
You take it?
I take 4.
That's your realistic.
No,
your realistic is 4 wins.
There was actually a really good interview. Why am I drawing a blank? Hall of Fame defensive player for the Giants.
Harry Carson?
No, not Lawrence Taylor, but the other big guy.
Harry Carson?
No. Anyway, he was talking about Daniel Jones. He goes, "I'm not like everybody makes fun of me for being a Daniel Jones lover, and pro Daniel Jones." He goes, "It's not that I'm a lover of Daniel Jones. It's you got to be realistic with what he was working with. Like, yeah, when he was on the field, his team was bad, but he wasn't that great. But he was the most sacked guy on the field at that time. Well, listen, most sacked quarterback at the time. So you're talking about a guy he makes bad decisions when he's on the field. Of course he is. Of course the quarterback's going to make bad decisions when you have no time to make decisions. So it happens, and he didn't have the ability to do the running scheme didn't work that it was a year before. So all this slander, like he has an opportunity if they can block for him. He's got weapons around him. He can have a bounce back season. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a bounce back season, but I'm not looking for like a massive 30 touchdown, 4 interception season. But for him to hit 25 touchdowns, 24 touchdowns total, it's very plausible for him if he stays healthy.
Yeah. So we're up in a couple picks here. I want to kind of talk to you a little bit about the next wide receiver that we want to kind of target. So Javon Baker's still up on this board, but there's a guy a little further down, and 2 guys actually further down, McMillan and Devontae Walker.
I knew you were going to go in that way.
So with those 2 guys that are sitting there, would you rather have Javon Baker, like let's say Javon Baker ends up being the number 3 there. If there's an injury, he comes in as number 2 where his volume goes up. Would you rather have him as number 2, or if McMillan had to come in because
No, I'd rather have
hurt?
McMillan just based on the teams that he plays.
So let's go over to running back. And Keaton Mitchell's sitting right there. I really freaking love that.
Yeah, I'm happy to fire on all cylinders on Keaton Mitchell.
So if we hit Keaton Mitchell and he's available for us here, then I say we take Keaton Mitchell and we
There he is.
There he is.
Keaton Mitchell. And I don't have much of McMillan, but I like McMillan because I think he's still going to be there as a number 3 guy and get opportunities in this offense.
I do. And I've started to draft him more and more as well. Him and Devontae Walker. I like Javon Baker, but the realism is that he's not going to be the number 2 there. there's a lot of people there.
I think there's going to be I think there's going to be plays that are made up where like there are formations where he is the number 2 because of his skill set. That's what I'm saying. And there's a chance that Bourne starts on the PUP list.
That's fine.
And
They
I
still
think
have Juju. They still have Polk. They still have Pop Douglas. They have a crowded, mediocre.
Pop Douglas is got a bubble of what he does for that team.
Of course, but they have a group of guys that really don't have a huge. There's no alpha there, and Javon Baker's not the alpha. He's not an alpha.
This is also the first group of drafted
I just don't
players.
like that offense.
No, this is also the first group of drafted players without Belichick involved.
I think that could be a plus.
I think it's a very big plus, which is why I don't love the Jujus. Like I think them keeping Kendrick Bourne was good because I think that guy should be the wide receiver 1 for this team. There's a chance Polk could be that too. But if you have Polk, him, and Baker on the field all 3 at the same time, I like that for that offense. I just don't like the fact that they had to play the Dolphins twice a year, the Bills twice a year, the Jets twice a year,
right?
And then it just depends on who their out of conference games are and what division they end up playing too.
Well, and that's my argument for like Devontae Walker or Malik Washington that I really like, or McMillan, is that their roles are going to be more cut out, and if there is an injury there and they become the number 2,
yeah,
there's huge potential for blow up there.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's another guy too that I love trying to draft is Rondale Moore. Like I think there's the way he is used, the way he was used in Purdue, and the way he was used in Arizona. I just think Arizona didn't have the offensive firepower that Atlanta can have.
Go to tight ends really quick.
Yeah.
Let's see if Theo Johnson is
He's
still available.
There. He's 252, and if you look where we're at, technically we're just on the other end of 200. So
okay.
Like I think there's a chance we could fade him one more round.
We only have 2 more picks.
Oh, you're right. That's a good point. I think we can take him with our last pick if you really want another tight end.
So, we don't have to. I think it's a nice opportunity because it gets us a third starting tight end, potentially. There's other wide receivers. I would love to go and get like Devontae Walker and Brandon Rice or Malik Washington there's a bunch of guys. Did Malik Washington get taken?
I think he did.
Nope.
He's right here.
All right, he's falling down, huh?
Well, everybody's scared of what Odell Beckham's going to do to his opportunities.
450 yards and two touchdowns.
It's more or less
all
snap percentage.
All in 2 games.
It's all going to be snap percentage. The reason why we like Malik Washington and everybody out there is because Jalen Waddle has been playing injured each season he plays, except for his rookie season. But each season he plays, he's missing time. He's either missing games or he's missing a half of a game or a quarter. And the next person up who can do what he does is that. But Malik Washington isn't going for the outside lineup that.
Or he's a small guy that had 100 targets or 100 receptions and 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns, kind of like Tank Dell was, kind of like Josh Downs was. We're seeing more and more of these guys come into the league.
Well, he's a slot guy too.
Of course he is.
And Berrios is their best slot receiver right now.
Well,
if you want to count Odell Beckham as their best slot receiver, which he does partially.
I think there is opportunity for him. Berrios is Berrios.
Yeah, you know what you're getting from him.
You know what you're getting.
He's white bread toast.
He's milk toast.
Milk toast.
Milk toast.
No, milk toast. I give him a little bit more than milk toast. He's toast.
His hair's not milk toast because I bleached it all last year.
All right,
he's bleached it the last couple of years. I think we can double down on receiver.
Honestly, though, if Devontae Walker falls anymore and he comes to us, I would be happy to take Devontae Walker and Malik Washington.
And Rondale Moore. Or Theo Washington.
Or Malik
Washington. I'd be okay with Devontae Walker, Rondale Moore, and Theo Washington, Brandon Rice, and Theo Washington.
Theo Johnson.
Or
Malik Washington.
Yeah, listen,
we could fade him. We've had him in plenty of drafts, but we could fade him if you want.
It's him and Chuba Hubbard, I think, in every one of my drafts.
Because who do you trust more, Rondale Moore in that offense, or Darnell Mooney? Because Mooney's going way before him.
Oh, Rondale Moore
all day.
Rondale Moore.
Yeah. And if you like the opponents they're playing, beatable opponents.
Yeah, they're playing in the NFC South, so beatable opponents.
Versus Malik Washington's playing in the AFC East.
Yeah.
Not that they're beatable, but it's not that they're hard. I think Malik Washington can open up opportunity for them, but
yeah.
Oh, there goes Rondell Moore.
Rondell Moore's gone. But
Devontae Walker,
Walker's
you could still
still
like
there. 3 picks.
people. I don't know what we're doing. Are you really like worried about Aguilar? Are we really worried about the Bateman experiment? Like, yeah, Bateman may be actually maturing himself into a good NFL wide receiver, but he can't do what Walker can do.
No.
And I know, yeah, Andrews is the number one guy, and then somebody else is going to get that. And what is he going to be, the wide receiver 3 at best? Yeah. Well, he's gone now.
He's gone. So, doesn't matter.
Well,
what running backs are available?
What do we have? We have Keaton Mitchell.
Algier.
Garendo, Estime.
Allen.
Here's somebody that I want to take a piece of.
So let's go grab Lob. And then Theo Johnson.
Lob's receipt. Go look at Lob's receipt. And Eric Gray's another one.
Before we take Theo Johnson, take Evan Hall.
Evan Hall? Really? Over Trey Sermon?
Yeah.
Trey Sermon's going to be the guy there.
And Trey Sermon is drafted?
Yeah, probably already.
Yeah.
I like Eric Gray more. I think Eric Gray can at some point be better than Devin Singletary.
I really don't want any. Let's go Theo Johnson if we're going to argue on running backs.
All right, let's take that tight end.
So around 20 and 20?
Yep, that was around 20 and 20.
So
all
our
right.
draft's over.
So before we'll see everybody else who goes off the board here, let's do a recap here. We have Kyler Murray at our quarterback spot, backed up with Jordan Love as our secondary. Jahmyr Gibbs, Alvin Kamara, our primary running backs, with Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Pittman Jr., DK Metcalf, and Jackson Smith and Jigba as our top 4 receivers, and that's just the way they put it there. George Kittle as our tight end. I love that. Now, in terms of receivers, I love the fact that we got Dobbs, Dotson. We got Quentin Johnston is one that was auto-drafted for us because we were too busy yapping our jaws away.
Yeah, it happens.
But the fact that we have Malachi Corley, McMillan, as 2 other receivers that have high opportunity on these offenses.
Yeah.
I love. Every year we see these wide receivers get drafted in the first round, and some of these second round wide receivers that were drafted have better opportunity to be fantasy relevant compared to the guys drafted in the first round.
Oh, for sure.
The other ones we got for running back wise, Algier, which is a great backup. He is a solid plug and play if anything happens to Bijan Robinson. But even if it doesn't happen, he has opportunity to have a couple touchdown games and just getting in there.
Absolutely.
Braylon Allen, the guy who's going to get double-digit touchdowns according to Chris.
He's going to.
Keaton Mitchell, if he comes back, and when he comes back, this dude has the firepower, especially because the only running back in front of him is an aging Derrick Henry or an aged Derrick Henry, fine wine Derrick Henry.
Fine wine. He's fine wine.
But the fact that they're probably going to use him differently than and bring Mitchell in to be what you want him to be as speed and outside the tackles. And then Lob. I want everybody to take a second while I'm talking right here and go look up Lob's receiving numbers over his career in college. This is what he brings to the Raiders. It is not what Zeus brings to the table for the Raiders as the main running back. Zeus is a hard-nosed, hard-running, between-the-tackles guy. Yes, he can catch the ball, but this guy has the opportunity to springboard himself to be that third-down running back for them and passing specialist.
Absolutely.
Because I just don't love the fact that Alexander Madison's there, and I mean, everybody else who's been in this offense hasn't really proven it to them. And then we went with Theo Johnson, the fact that Darren Waller is most likely retiring. You have Theo Johnson, who's a better athlete than Bellinger. Bellinger's a better tight end right now in terms of all around. But if Theo Johnson's there for the passing game, what else do you think the Giants are going to be doing all season?
No, I love it.
So
I love it.
That's our team. I like this team. It's a little bit different than our last draft, well-rounded, but I think we got firepower with a lot of boom involved, as we talked about trying to do.
Boom.
Take a look at our squad here. Leave a comment. Tell us your thoughts. And for everybody who came in to watch this video, thanks for tuning in. And as always, see you next time.